Many have criticized our police for militarization, for using military-style equipment. I think, as you saw in Orlando, it was a Kevlar helmet that saved the life of an officer there. It's a military-style armored vehicle that punched a hole in the side of the club that allowed dozens to be saved. And here in Dallas, we just witnessed a military-style robot deliver the explosive that actually killed the shooter. And so what I think the public is beginning to see in this open situation here domestically is that our law enforcement are facing new and dynamic threats, and they need the best possible equipment to do their job.
But there was so much criticism after Ferguson that all of this military-grade gear was intimidating, and it was, if anything, it maybe incited violence.
Well, I think what we're seeing now, I mean, the Dallas Police Department and Chief Brown are widely recognized as one of the most progressive in community engagement. And I think you heard from Mayor Rawling even admitting that he's going to have to reevaluate how much protective gear that they'll be allowed. They actually reduced the amount of Kevlar vests that they were wearing in response to some criticism that they looked too militaristic. So I think across this country, major city chiefs are going to look at how they protect their own officers, and at the end of the day, the public sees that this is an excessive use of military-style equipment. It's a necessary and sensible use of equipment that's been proven effective by the military and has sensible cross-application and domestic law enforcement.
We're certainly going to learn more and more about the investigation, not only at the scene, but also in the gunman's home.
Right.
One of the things you and I were talking about earlier was just simply all of the supplies that we're learning about that were inside of his home.
Right.
What does that tell you about the fact that this was a premeditated attack?
Right.
But then again, if this was a peaceful protest that was planned maybe days before, was it a crime of opportunity, and how did those two collide?
Yeah, I think it was a merger where you saw the signatures are there. The detectives found bomb-making equipment, ballistic vests, ammunition rifles, and as the mayor mentioned, a manual on tactics, on combat shooting tactics. And this individual actually was in the Army Reserves, served a tour in Afghanistan. So what is scary to think about is this event was the worst loss of law enforcement life since 9/11. Actually, if he had had more opportunity to actually execute on planting bombs around the city and then committing a sniper-style attack like we saw here in Washington with John Lee Malveaux, imagine the kind of terror that would have been incited throughout the city. And so this is clearly a case of premeditated attack, but seizing a moment of opportunity.
We only have about 30 seconds left, but we so often hear the phrase, see something, say something. What could you have seen in this particular instance?
Well, the investigation will probably show what we call, if you look at almost any one of these incidents, both domestic racial attacks like this and terrorism, as we just saw in Orlando, there's what's called the standby syndrome, where we often find that somebody had a signature and they were too intimidated or concerned that if they brought it forward, they would be viewed as extreme. So what I'm going to just reiterate, as we saw in Orlando and what we're seeing here in Dallas, whether it's terrorism abroad that's coming infecting us here at home, or domestic terrorism, in both cases, I'd highly encourage the public that's watching to go to fbi.gov/tips or local law enforcement at 911. Please, if you do say something, say something.
Right, yeah, there may have been other people living at home.
Right.
Chad, thank you so much.
Thank you, Liz.
Appreciate it.
And as we take you back to pictures of the memorial in downtown Dallas, where mourners pay tribute to the police officers killed, Ken Paxton was talking about that earlier. We're going to keep you updated on the investigation and protests around the country coming up. But first, to Warsaw, Poland, where President Obama is wrapping up a busy two-day NATO meeting and is expected to speak to the press and take some questions in the coming minutes.